Oh, hey there. Oh, sorry about the awkward entrance. The void of space is a little difficult to move around in. Just wanted to stop by at the beginning and let you know to follow these artists. They contribute some very good work for this episode, and I want to make sure they get credited. Oh no. The gravity of the comment section is pulling me in. Wait, before I go, remember the next time you draw a beer, you have...
Hello everyone, GoldenNova here. Let me ask you something. Do you have a deck that you love playing, but for one reason or another, it's been left behind by the game at large? Does it feel like a piece of it is missing, or its power plays just aren't as effective as they used to be, and if only they had that little boost, they could make it back into the mainstream? Well, since new card reveals are in short supply these days, I figured, hey, why not provide one of my own? So welcome aboard this new experimental format where we concoct cards for existing themes, looking to fill a niche or provide some much needed power. Welcome to the Dream theme. First though, real quick, if you end up enjoying this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most of all, share this on any social media platform that you can. I'm really proud of this episode and the work that I and the contributing artists put in, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it's not going to be picked up by the algorithm since I'm not talking about any of the latest hotness. So anything you can do to help is greatly appreciated. Now, before we get started, I want to make sure to set up some ground rules so that you know what to expect. The goal here is to craft a card that you could believe would be released in a real set. The effects should be thematic, but not overwhelmingly powerful. We're looking to accentuate and enhance an existing theme, not turn it into a shell that revolves around a single powerful card, losing its identity. All of this, of course, will require some level of subjectivity about what's powerful and thematic, so I hope you'll stick around and see where my standards are when it comes to design. But which theme will we be tackling on our first outing? Well, a group of cards that have had a pretty open spot in its design that has bugged me to no end for years now is Amazonas. My Valentine's lesser-known theme got a bit of a boost with the release of both Circuit Break and the first legendary Duelist set. But despite cards that would add consistency, and even some new boss monsters to boot, the deck didn't make much of a splash. And to be fair, Lynx had just come out, and Trickstar and Masterpiece were running the format. A deck that was suffering major Gladiator Beast syndrome, where your deck's entire game plan happens during the battle phase, was not going to line up super well against such oppressive strategies. And that really sucks, because we have a lot of neat cards to use now. Empress gives every other Amazonas card destruction protection, and provides piercing to push through defensive boards, which pairs nicely with Liger's ability to whittle down the attack of anything it can't attack over already. On top of that, while both require the specific materials of Queen and Pet Tiger, both of which are pretty below the curve nowadays, the name substitutions provided by Princess and Baby Tiger give you the option to bypass the originals while providing neat effects. Princess gives you access to basically your entire deck, while Baby Tiger's recursion means that every Amazonas you summon is a potential Link 2 with no added investment needed. So let's start by identifying the key features of Amazonas, then identify what the theme is lacking to see if we can bridge any gaps. As we mentioned earlier, Amazonas are all about the battle phase. There are very few of them that don't have effects that involve battle or changing attack values. So whatever card we make has to have something that will either make them stronger or make the battle phase even more advantageous for us. There are also quite a few Amazonas cards that rely on strength and numbers. Paladin and Tiger both gain attack for every Amazonas you control, Queen and Empress protect your other cards to keep them around, and Village can maintain your numbers if they do end up being destroyed by battle. They also have a nice amount of spell and trap support that stays on the field to assist. Village was mentioned earlier, but there's also Fighting Spirit to help punch over larger monsters, and Onslaught that helps summon out more Amazonases from your hand, and gives them all DD Warrior Lady style effects. So while the Amazonases are proficient brawlers, they're more than willing to accept help of a magical persuasion. Now that we've gone over what the deck is, let's go over what it is not. First, this is not a combo deck. Thankfully, many of our key Amazonas cards are self-contained and don't require memorizing long play sequences. While adding cards that would facilitate that would likely raise the ceiling, we aren't looking to replace the battle-driven design with Isolde combo shenanigans. We also lack a way to negate cards or effects in theme. Queen and Empress's protections can make certain effects pointless, and Scouts can even help prevent some targeting, but none of these are really going to interrupt our opponent's game plan, just hopefully protect our own. And while I think a nice counter trap would work wonders for the deck, I think there's something even more pressing that we need to add. See, Amazonas was not a fusion theme until Arc V came along and added them to Academia's roster, but despite all of this, we still don't have a fusion spell. Like, how did they get away with that? Even Lunalights ended up getting a fusion spell, and they're an Xyz archetype. I mean, they wouldn't have had such success in Orchest and Time Thieves if they weren't, right? So with all of this in mind, let's begin the process of crafting a new card. Today, we're making Amazonas Fusion. Let's start with the card type. Spell will be good here. Amazonas already have a pretty hard time of getting their other effects online. Let's not make it something like a trap where they have to wait a turn. Ooh, and since El Shaddoll Fusion showed us just how good it is to have a quick play fusion for closing out games, let's go ahead and add a little lightning bolt there. As for the fusion effect, let's go with the standard template. Fusion summon one Amazonas Fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as material. So at this point we've already got some pretty good synergies. Princess can search the fusion on summon, and since Call can search Princess, you can effectively run 9 copies of your fusion enabler. Also, when Princess attacks, you can send a different card to the grave to summon another Amazonas, and hey, you just got all the materials you needed for Amazonas Empress. But since you can only have one chain between attack declaration and the damage step, we can't actually use Amazonas Fusion until the battle concludes. This means we'll either have to have another Amazonas available for fusion, Princess attacking into a safe target, or attacking into an unsafe target, one with a bigger attack, but using Princess's effect to summon Queen to keep her from blowing up. I suppose we could add some kind of attack change effect that would allow it to be used in the damage step, but I don't think there's a way to add something like that without making the effect text super clunky. But that can't be all it does. We're playing in a post-Thunder Dragon game. Fusion spells can't just fuse anymore, so I think we can add a little extra spice. One piece of support I like a lot is Amazonas Onslaught, but while its trap status means you can use it during either player's turn, it's not going to help much when you first gain access to it. But what if we sped up the process a bit to make it even more aggressive? With that in mind, we'll be taking a page out of the True Draco playbook and adding an effect where you can banish Amazonas Fusion from your grave to take one Amazonas continuous spell or trap from your hand or deck and activate it. I thought about letting it add to hand as well, but that opened up an Ash vulnerability I didn't feel was worth it. Now we have a way to put Onslaught into play a lot quicker, and since the theme has a bit of a problem with getting a critical mass of monsters on board, the faster we can get it online, the better. And bonus, if your attack target resists the effects of Onslaught, or has too much attack and you want to keep your Amazonas, this also lets you grab Fighting Spirit. So let's shake all this together and run it through the patented GoldenNova Dream Theme set printer, and ta-da! I was lucky enough to get the assistance of 2 artists to help bring this idea to life. Din Redfire ran with my original idea, with polymerization style Amazonas Queen and Tiger taking the stage. I like how the shading of each one of them helps bring their figure to life, and they have a really nice, graceful composition. It really helps sell the aesthetic of a fusion card. We've also got this version done by fellow Yugi tuber and sealed hero aspirant Casual Card Gamer. Before I even had a chance to share my idea, they showed me this awesome vision of Swordswoman and Chainmaster, having the chain loop in tandem with the fusion vortex. It's absolutely astonishing. And I like how the bold hair, weapons, and darker shadows juxtaposes Din Redfire's more calm, collected composition. It's really cool to have 2 versions of this card all at once. It's like they're each other's alt arts. I don't know where I'm going with this, but seriously, this is awesome. Please make sure to check out both of these awesome creators. Din Redfire can be found on Twitter at DinRedFire, and you can find tons of examples of her work there, including commission info if you want some of her work for yourself. And you can also find Casual Card Gamer on YouTube at, well, Casual Card Gamer. They do a lot of pack openings, and are currently working on a sealed-only challenge in hopes of building a hero deck that will go beyond #+Ultra. And you can find them on Twitter at Yugioh1. They aren't taking commissions themselves, but they do show their art off there, and you have not lived until you've seen the heroes he can put to paper. He's currently working on Destiny hero Plasma this week, so go ahead and follow him to be some of the first to check out his progress. All the links are in the description, so go down there and check them out. And that about wraps it up for Amazonas Fusion. This was a really fun video to make. I love thinking of what hypothetical cards and effects could be added to existing themes to spice things up. Another big thank you goes out to the artists who helped out with this. You worked so fast and were so patient with me, and thanks to all of you watching this right now. Do you have any changes you'd like to see done to Amazonas Fusion? Or is there another card you can dream up that would be better for the theme? Or do you perhaps have an archetype you'd like to see on a future episode of Dream Theme? Let me know in the comments, and make sure to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed the video. Thank you all again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.